I love Sawbridgeworth.
Hello, it's Michael from Love Sawbridgeworth, and today I'm here with Carol Russell. She's a long-term resident in Sawbridgeworth, and she's just written an amazing book, which she's going to tell us a little bit more about in a moment. But for now, Carol, can you, you've obviously been in Sawbridgeworth a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about your time here? And
Yes, hello, good morning. Nice to see you. It's lovely to have you here. We've lived here, me and my husband have lived here since 1975. We were previously in Kent, and then Stuart got a job working actually with Martin the newsagent, and on the board of Martin the newsagent, and their head office was in South Woodford. And we were looking around for a property, and at the time the M11 was just about to be built, so it was a good commute for him to go from here to Woodford. And we were lucky to find a new house being built in Whiteford Drive. So we had 7 lovely years in Whiteford Drive and got to know some very lovely neighbours. And of course it was very convenient for everything. All the beautiful shops in Sawbridgeworth. We had a lot of different shops in Sawbridgeworth that are a little bit different to how it is now.
yeah,
But it was central because I was working in Harlow.
so it's a good in-between point.
And it was an in-between thing, so it was really good.
Perfect, yeah. So, and obviously from Whiteford Drive, I understand you've moved on to sort of central Sawbridgeworth and other parts. So a lot of people around here, and you've been involved in a lot of different community points across your time in Sawbridgeworth as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have. We moved in 1975 to Whiteford Drive, and then we had our daughter in 1979. And we were obviously involved in preschool activities in central Sawbridgeworth. I was teaching in Harlow at the time, but I was actually involved in the Operatic Society in Bishop Stortford as well, so I knew both of them.
Yeah.
But got to know an awful lot of people in Sawbridgeworth. One of those people was Austin,
Right.
of Angels Cafe,
Yeah.
and we met very early on as members of the Bishop Stortford Operatic Society, which is now the Bishop Stortford Musical Theatre Company.
Amazing.
And we've been friends ever since. Been lovely to have that friendship.
Yeah.
And of course, known Greg for an awful long time, and lots of other people in the town. But when I was teaching in Harlow and involved in the Operatic Society in Bishop Stortford, I was very conscious that there weren't an awful lot of activities for children and young people in Sawbridgeworth.
Yeah.
So as part of the preschool activities, I joined up with a lady who was doing preschool music and movement, and I did that for some years.
Yeah.
And then I launched what is now called Youth Create in 1987.
Amazing.
We called it Sawbridgeworth Musical Young People's Theatre Group, which is a bit of a long-winded way of talking about it. And a couple of years later changed it to Sawbridgeworth Musical Youth Theatre, because I went to a conference in Devon with a National Association of Youth Theatres, so we felt it was more in line with other youth theatres in the country to be called a youth theatre.
Amazing.
And then a few years later we changed it again to Youth Create. And Create, I don't know if anybody realises this, but Create stands for Community, Recreational, Educational, Arts and Theatre for everyone. So
perfect.
Youth Create is everything that
Sort of covers all of it. Yeah. That's a really lovely part. I mean, Sawbridgeworth is, as we know, amazing with its community anyway. But
Absolutely.
I guess that originally was a huge part of getting the community involved. So certainly a lovely thing that you've done. And I mean, obviously over your time in Sawbridgeworth, what have been some of your sort of favourite memories or favourite places of Sawbridgeworth? I mean, there's so much that you could go into. But
It's countless number of things. The Christmas singing of carols on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The only reason my children used to come back from university was so we could go to Christmas Eve carol
around
concert
Fair Green as well. And
at Fair Green.
Yeah.
And Fair Green was regarded as a place to have a May Fair, because part of the town's charter is that there should be a market twice a year.
Yeah.
So that happened in May, and as a member of Youth Create, we used to go and have stalls. We had about 4 stalls a year, face painting and tombola and other produce, selling costumes sometimes, and we did a performance piece. And the turning on of the Christmas lights, we were asked by Jenny, who used to run a shop where the Bell's Pharmacy is now,
right,
actually,
okay.
if we could sing some Christmas carols for the turning on of the Christmas lights.
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
That was 1988, and over the years did 14 years of that, did 19 years of the May Fair, an incredible sense of community. Wonderful, mutually supportive groups of people.
Yeah, and they still do it obviously every year.
Absolutely.
Even I mean, obviously depending on the time this has come out, but we recently had the Christmas
That's
lights,
right.
and it wasn't the brightest of weathers. It was raining, it was cold, it was windy, but even so, everyone was there supporting the singers outside the farm. So obviously talking about the community in Sawbridgeworth, and over the last couple of years, the whole of the world, and obviously local to us, been hit with a complete change in circumstance, obviously with COVID and other measures. And talking about community, I mean, how have you found things from your perspective in the area?
It's been very difficult, hasn't it, during the last 2 years? And at my particular age group and health perspective, we've all had to be very cautious. And a lot of my friends have been able to walk, but I'm not very good at walking. But some of my friends, we actually... they came along from, they live in Sawbridgeworth, came along and we did Zumba on our drive.
Amazing. Oh, that's lovely.
That was quite good.
Yeah.
And I wrote a diary. I kept a diary for the first lockdown, and then I added more to it. And friends such as Austin took photographs of what he was doing, and other friends did reports about what they were doing, and combined to add to it as well.
Together, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And everyone is very good at checking up on everybody else, and there's always offers of support. If anybody couldn't get out, there were people who would go and collect their shopping or their pharmacy produce or whatever they needed, if they needed tablets or medication or anything, which was really good. And I know that everybody has been so relieved to be able to get back to some kind of community activity. And I thought it was wonderful that although the weather was so dreadful, the turnout for the Christmas turning on of the lights was well attended and supported. I'd also like to mention the church as well, that does the pop-up shop, and I know so many people who've contributed to that, and again, it's the community looking out for each other, trying to make sure that nobody is unsupported. And the mayor recently was very supportive of a homeless man. He was notified that there was somebody homeless in Sawbridgeworth.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And immediately the community got together.
Everyone got together and sort of helped in their own ways, and it just sort of says a lot about the people of Sawbridgeworth, doesn't it? And that community spirit that we've got here. And
It's very different to other places where you might live, and there's always somebody willing to give a help hand. Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
Amazing. Well, that's that was lovely to hear. So your experience of it all as well, and long may it continue as we get more of a normal with everything. But obviously we've come in today also to talk a bit more about your book, your latest book, Carol. So please, can you tell us a little bit more?
My latest book is called The Blackbird Who Could Not Sing. Now, it's actually been in the pipeline for a number of years, and I started writing it some years ago. And when I decided that I wanted to do it as an illustrated book, I needed somebody that I could trust with the images.
Of course, yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of artists over the years, but the one person I particularly like with regard to wildlife and cartoons is actually somebody I first went to school with when we were in high school, when we were 11 to 18.
Amazing.
And we got together 3 years ago at a school reunion. We're from Yorkshire originally, and she now lives on Shetland, and of course we live here in Sawbridgeworth. And so during the pandemic, we've been doing this over the internet, messages backwards and forwards, and finally got the story out of The Blackbird Who Could Not Sing. And the dedication is in celebration of those who are just a little bit different, because we're not all of us the same, and nor should we be. Nor should we be. And my background is that I've always tended to support the underdog. Whenever I've offered opportunities, anyone who's a gifted and able person I've wanted to support anyway. But I realised that there were other people who didn't have support, And that was one of the reasons why I started Youth Create, because it was to give all people opportunities.
Yeah.
So this little story is about a poor little blackbird who is born into a family of singers, and he can't sing, and it's embarrassing. But the poor little thing goes off on his adventures and suddenly finds actually he does have a purpose, he does have a usefulness, and he is successful and appreciated. And the moral of this story is we're all worthy, and we all can be appreciated. And the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. I'm really glad that Anne had time to do them. And it went on sale last week. So
Amazing. It's really lovely to to hear a bit more about it. And we're really excited to be here today so that we can tell everyone of Sawbridgeworth a little bit more about it, so that everyone can get involved in supporting Carol, who, as you mentioned, has been a long-term Sawbridgeworth resident and a real sort of focal point in the community. So looking forward to reading it myself, Carol. And I understand as part of the Sawbridgeworth sort of Christmas campaign, you're looking to also partake in the giveaway as well.
Yes, I'm going to give you one of my poetry books and one of my Blackbird books, but I'd just like to, if I can...
Yeah, please, yeah.
This is my poetry book, which I wrote some time ago, and this is a little bit of a humorous poem. I hope you like it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
It's called Pop Star, and it's, do you want to be a pop star, a star of stage and screen? Do you want to be a pop star, the best that's ever been? You'd sing and be on telly, and sing and crowds would scream. You'd sing at music festivals in wet and muddy fields. And when you're really famous and known in every place, you'd moan and say, just leave me, I need quiet and my own space.
Oh, amazing.
That's just a little bit of humour.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for sharing it with us. And
You're welcome.
yeah, no, it's really some amazing things that you've done over the years, and yeah, really excited for this as well, Carol. So if everyone in Sawbridgeworth, it is amazing community spirit here. So if you all get involved in supporting Carol, and obviously let us know your thoughts as well.
Can I just mention that I am going to be doing a book signing on the 7th of December at the Pizza Squisita at 3:00. Mike very kindly has opened the doors for that opportunity.
Yeah.
And Greg, the mayor, is going to be there as well.
Perfect.
Austin's coming back from the Angel Cafe that was.
Yeah.
And it'd be lovely for people to just drop in and say hello.
So
And
a great opportunity for everyone to get involved there. Obviously, it's on Bell Street at Squisita. So Carol's book signing. So please get involved, and we look forward to seeing you there. All right.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Carol. Take care.